Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Reality Kingdom, where we talk all things reality TV or whatever. Child, we a little late, but hey, the show was a
Child,
little
we're a little
mid.
late, but
The
the episode was
episode
a
was
little
a little late.
boring. Like,
I don't
are we
know.
late or are we right on time?
I guess we're right on time, child. I'm your host, Pharaoh. I'm joined by our wonderful co-host, Lily. How's you feeling?
I'm feeling. It just this episode didn't serve. Like, it was not giving. I realized that this episode was nothing when we were 30 minutes in and we got nothing but goddamn competition damn near.
He did, y'all. He told me. He said, "What's this?" I said, "I don't know."
I was like, so it's gonna be a simple tribal, isn't it? Don't you think? Like, we only had 20 minutes of actual game conversation.
Literally. So, y'all, I got 3 dick appointments lined up. We're gonna zoom through this.
Not 3,
girl, 3
back to back.
They texted me right now, child. Let me hurry up. So, back to back. Girl.
They backstacked the M's.
Girl. So, we started off and we find out that the merge tribe name is the Gaia tribe because they say it in the little corner. So, Janine's girl, Ellie, just got voted out, as she should.
Bad girl, eat out.
Her. So, Janine comes back and she says, "Oh, wait, I need to play the game."
She said, "I'm going to be mother." And you know what? I said this. I said, Janine.
You called it. You did.
She just need Ellie to go. Now, she may or may not have suffered a pit this episode, child. We're going to get into that. Because what an idol at? Child. But I'm really loving this, Janine. I'm really loving this.
Look at this.
What?
The shout out.
Child, the shot. Like, no. I love everything he's doing. Whoop de whoop de whoop. But you could tell they had nothing else to talk about. They just kept putting us a filler and filler. Why are we having a character episode in the merge? That should have been taken care of.
This should be the most important vote, allegedly. Girl, look. Why they put our people against each other? Y'all, it was bad for the blacks.
What they said all the women will be out, and after that, the blacks and the women. If you're a black and you're a woman, that decision for you. That decision for you. You should be on 41 and 42, babe, not 43. It's real nasty.
My thing is, we still gonna win. James is still here.
James is still here and doing one of the best. Now, he did get a few votes.
But the fact that he didn't go home, I feel like this shows.
It just shows.
He's that girl. Okay, y'all. So we started off the episode, and Janine was like, "Damn, I literally need to get to work." So she got straight to work. She said, "I'm going to tell everybody that this was better for my game. I don't give a fuck that Ellie went home. Fuck that girl. I wanted to put her out myself. I just didn't know."
This is what Janine needed. Janine needed that spirit. See, Ellie was a bad spirit since day one. Ellie has been steering my sister Janine wrong. My sister got up from under that Ellie wing, and look at her. She's blossoming out here.
Thriving out here.
She said, "I am a weapon. You can use me." Period, Janine.
Janine hell.
Janine.
I'm the sword of this season. No! So after that, they go to sleep. They wake up. It's daytime now,
and this is where all filler starts happening.
And this is from now on, y'all. Tuned out freestyle. Like, I don't know what to tell you, but dead ass. Before we get a swap between Dwight and Owen, and I guess it is filler because one of those people are not in the game. But Dwight and Owen talk, and essentially they talk about why Dwight went home. Because Dwight says, they speak amongst themselves about how Owen feels good with all of Baka. So that's Janine, Sammy, and Gabler, and himself. And Dwight says, "Well, I like Noelle." And
Jesse?
Dwight said, "Jesse? Maybe even Cody?"
I mean, I can understand that Cody, but
maybe
even
though. But like, if you're going to join there's a 4-person tribe. You have a 4-person tribe. But instead of making it an 8-person alliance at top 12, where 8 is okay, you wanted to make it a 6-person alliance with only you and Noelle?
And that's part of the reason why his ass is out this episode, child. No shade. I didn't see, and this really sucks about Survivor because we can only get what they put into these 40-minute edited goddamn episodes. Because when the fuck did Dwight and Jesse not be besties anymore?
Girl.
I love the Dwight and Jesse friendship. And it's just gone. This was like
literally gone.
It's giving Drea and literally it's giving Drea and Romeo and 42. Remember they got to merge and she just said, "Fuck a Romeo."
She didn't know who that was.
Romeo, who
that hoe
I don't know who that hoe is. It's like, damn, like this is why I can't do Survivor, because in the 2 days, mind you, it's only been 2 days since we see them in besties.
Not just besties, married, husbands, child,
Island husbands, girl,
in the camp.
And now nothing. He moved on to Owen. Now I will say Dwight got taste, because I would also be listening to Owen whatever word he said.
I would have did anything Jesse said, and once I saw Owen, I would be like, I have a new daddy.
But you gotta bring both. Why lose both?
True. Why? So
you have 2 men protecting you instead of 1.
But no, he didn't want that. He wanted to get voted out by 1. I love what's it called when you like to be dominated? I think that's what Dwight liked, because he liked to get voted out. So
it's giving self-protection.
So we see here that it's very we see here that it's very clear that Dwight and Owen are besties, because not only did they think of this whole alliance, but they're going together to get tree mail.
Why every time Owen try to work with somebody, they end up getting sent home? Honestly, Owen his damn self is a curse at this point.
He's the curse. That's why I didn't fuck with Baca. And that's why I don't fuck with Baca. The fuck. So Owen and Dwight went to get the tree mail. They came back and they were expecting to just paint the tribe flag, have a kiki. Boom. The motherfucking note says, y'all, pair up in the 2s for today's challenge. They said pair up in the 2s for today's challenge. They were very, very shook. And so was I. I'm not going to lie. Because it's like, when does this happen? This was very new.
I thought it was going to like be involved in the overall twist. Like I thought, oh, maybe they count as 1 vote. Maybe they have to something interesting like that. Maybe 2 of them get voted out at once. Maybe not a lot of people liked it. But I mean,
you thinking bigger?
I mean, hey, that's better. Bigger is better, and okay,
better is bigger. A little bit is never enough.
Shout out to Sharpay, the queen.
Sharpay, and not Ryan.
Oh, what Ryan do?
He's just not Sharpay. That's all. That's literally all. Maybe Sharpay's brother. Okay, so so Owen has a diary room, and he talks about how he likes this group, but he's scared of Gabler because Gabler will be acting out and woo. And you know what this reminds me of? Ellie being scared of Gabler. Gabler gonna be Owen's downfall. Because why show Owen randomly have a DR saying he's scared of Gabler unless their things are linked?
Gabler I don't know. So far, all we see, anytime someone mentions going after Gabler, Gabler don't go home.
I want to apologize to Gabler right now before we get into anything. Gabler, I'm sorry, baby, because I was wrong about you. This episode.
Because
we don't know what's gonna happen.
He's still a crap king. It could definitely come
go
back.
Up or down.
But he ate these last 2 episodes up. I mean, he had Idol up into Merge, then he won immunity in Merge, got out Evil Ellie, and then he won individual immunity.
I don't see a problem.
I mean, got the most screen time, nothing but character moments. I mean, Gabler is eating up Survivor 43. I don't know what to tell y'all.
He's the entertainment, the gameplay, he's a man.
Not too far.
Y'all, I'm waiting on the dick appointments. Okay, so they have to pair up into pairs, and they decide they're gonna just do a rock draw for it. So they rock draw for it. We go to commercial. We come back from commercial. We at the immunity challenge. Boom. Jeff is like, I almost called that man TJ. Who's TJ? Oh, Challenge. Jeff is like, okay, y'all, who the pairs? We find out that the pairs end up being randomly Owen and Gabler. I know Owen was sick. Cody and Dwight, daddy and daddy. Noelle and Sammy. Ryan and James, daddy and daddy again. Carla and Cassidy, mother and mother. And Jesse and Janine. It's kind of a good cast. Now that I just through everybody's name. They low-key eat. I'm low-key here for this. So
I think maybe personality-wise. Now maybe strategy.
Maybe neither. I think I just like them because they don't have much personality either. Kind of boring.
I think most of them are cracks to a certain extent.
The boring version of crack. Unrootable. Like, I love a chaos has crack. They're giving Ellie crack. And it's like,
Jatia burn the rice cracks.
Ooh, Jatina was eating. Y'all heard she got rigged out of the game? We're not gonna get into it. Girl, they said, real quick, Jatia said her tribal was the longest tribal council ever because Jeff kept asking them, "Y'all sure y'all don't want to vote Argentina? Y'all sure y'all don't want to?" Until Tasha changed her vote. Crazy, but we moved. So, or somebody changed their vote. But we moved.
I remember Tasha being like she did not want to vote her out, and then she ended up just going with Spencer in that decision. Spencer and Cass.
Mm-hmm. They said they made her. So this community challenge is going to be in 3 different stages. Stage 1, you're all as pairs. There's 6 pairs starting off. Only 4 pairs will make it to the next stage. This stage is going to be where you have to wiggle your way through a mud net, and then you have to dig up a plank. So first 4 teams to do that go to stage 2. Stage 2 is going to be that you have to climb up a net, and then you have to cross a rope using those 3 individual planks. The first 2 teams to do that will move on to the final stage, and that's when the 4 people will play as individuals. They'll hold up a water bucket that's 25% of their weight, and then we'll move the fuck home. So we get to stage 1, and it's going to be the first person of your pair going through the mud net first, and then the second player has to come after you're done, and then y'all have to dig up y'all planks. So we see quickly that Cassidy, mother ass, is done. Cassidy zooms through that shit. She's done. She's good. Now you her baby sister. Like
she really ate that
up. We also see Daddy Ryan gets through. And this is what I was thinking. Like when Ryan was going through, I was like, Ryan is a big man. Like I would be not only claustrophobic as a little man, but also not able to get through the net. Like
because the next scene really hard to get through. I mean, people were getting stuck. Like it was no joke.
Oh, y'all, if I would have got stuck, I would have been screaming, Jeff, help! Please! Like I would be crying and screaming. I'm claustrophobic as fuck, and you're just in there. Like you saw how Noelle was sitting in there like a fish at the end of it. Like just
yeah.
I'm sorry. Like can't move. I hate not being able to move. Why I can't move my arms? Ooh, like being buried alive. We see that Sammy gets through very, very early, and note that because Sammy's partner is Noelle. So, Ryan.
I mean, it's like the like now I'm thinking about it deeper. Like them being in pairs really didn't mean shit. Like you could at least get immunity to the person you was in a pair with. I mean, something, Jeff. Give us something.
Nothing. He was bored because he didn't have his hourglass. He was mad. He was like, "Y'all gonna, I'm gonna do something randomly." So Ryan and James are a pair, and James has been competing against people from the first set of pairs. So he finally gets through. Ryan and James are already done. They start digging. So Cody gets done. He's the first person on his pair. So Dwight has to go now. Owen gets done. He's the first person. So Gabler has to go now. But we see that Carla and Cassidy are now done. So by this point, we already have Ryan and James digging up. Carla and Cassidy digging up. Coco is eating it up. I don't know what to tell y'all.
Period. Love Coco.
Period, Coco. So finally, we see that it ends up that everyone is either digging or done. And the last 2 people who are left in the net are Janine for the Janine and Jesse pair and Noelle for the Noelle and Sammy pair. And eventually they just lose. And we see Janine and Noelle just stuck in the net. And that's when my claustrophobia was acting up. Like, I'm stuck in the net. Like, I can't get out.
Like, she was stuck as fuck. Like,
Noelle whole leg done came off. Like, whew, child. So after they finish the challenge, they go and they help Noelle and they help Janine get out. And here go Jeff. You know, he want to be Mr.
And let's just be real, child. It's given they needed filler. No shade.
They did. They said, Jeff, go ahead and tell us. They said it in his ear. So Jeff was like, Noelle. No, he was like, Sammy, I heard you say that you don't even care that you lost. You just wanted to make sure Noelle was good. All of you guys, I've noticed this season, you guys are really
just be saying
more about each other. Like I could get Jeff's job because I feel like they tell him in his ear, you need to say something real quick.
And this is the moment.
Now's your chance. So he does his little speech. They all talk about how wonderful that was. Boom, we get to stage 2 of the challenge. Stage 2 is the planks. The 4 teams that moved along are Ryan and James, Cassidy and Carla, Owen and Gabler, Cody and Dwight. So they go, and we quickly see that Cassidy and Carla are doing good once again. I was rooting for them. We were all rooting for them. Ryan and James, Daddy Ass was doing good at first, but eventually Cody and Dwight just catch up on all they ass, and they end up getting done first. And only 2 teams can pass this round. So every other team is like literally rushing to finish, and we see Carla and Cassidy very, very close to the end, and then we also see Owen and Gabler very close to the end. So they're all trying to rush to get off the plank. Boom, Carla ends up falling. It's like, damn. But then I kind of get happy again because Daddy Ryan and Daddy James start catching up to Owen and Gabler. I'm like, ooh. And then boom, they drop the plank. And it's like, damn. So Owen and Gabler end up finishing alongside Cody and Dwight.
Damn.
Y'all, my medicine coming tomorrow. So Cody and Dwight and Dwight, Gabler, and Owen are all going to be competing in stage 3, where you have to hold this water bucket that's 25% of your weight. What's 25% of my weight?
190 business fucking pounds, bitch.
That's like 40 pounds for me. And it's like,
ooh, skinny girl.
What, girl? That's literally 40 pounds. It's like, I got to hold up 40 pounds of water. 40 pounds is hard. Like, y'all know a 40-pound dumbbell just holding that shit up with your forearms? Like you on a motorcycle? Hell no. So they all start revving it up. They ready, they playing, they all holding their shit down. And then we see quickly Dwight ends up falling. So that leaves what, 3 white men? No, Owen is Asian, and none of them are white actually. So Owen, Gabler, and Sammy are left at the end. They're all holding their buckets until eventually Owen falls. It's Gabler and Cody left. And Cody is telling them, well, Gabler is starting to tell Jeff his reason for why he's up there. And he talks about how he's doing this for the military people who are going through PTSD, who are going through hard times after getting out of the military. And that is very, very sweet. We listen to Cody's reasoning. We listen to the rest of their reasoning. Do I care? No. So,
and then we just get Gabler.
We just get Gabler
talking throughout the challenge.
And that's all. So finally, 37 minutes in, they say this is the longest this challenge has ever gone. It hasn't went past 24 minutes. Whoop. Finally, we get that Gabler wins immunity. And it's like, okay, Daddy, like you kind of I don't know what to tell you. So Gabler is immune. And
I was gagged. I'm not gonna lie.
I was gagged. Gabler was gagged
to get him an immunity. Like he's eating.
Everybody was gagged. I'm not gonna lie. So after this, we go back to camp. And at camp, we see Carla and Sammy. They have a talk. And camp, what I've noticed this season, or I don't know if it's just the new era, I can't really remember. No, it's just the new era. Everything is messy. Yeah. Like everyone just talks to anybody, and you could just have random people talking in conversation. You're like, why are they talking? Why are they talking? So we see Carla and Sammy talk. And clearly Carla and Sammy have a close relationship. They show the conversation about how neither of them are really hearing anything. And it's interesting because last vote, it was only 6 of them eligible, but now all of them are eligible. So good luck. So then we get a talk between Baca and Bessie. They're all in the water.
Oh, the
most
mic.
of them are in the water.
Your mic, Carl.
What happened?
You did it and it went.
Is it back?
Yeah.
Okay. So they're in the water. Baca and Bessie are in the water, and they're talking about what they need to do. Who do we need to vote? And they are like, well, if Baca's working together with Bessie, then our only options are Coco, and they don't say mother's name. So that leaves James and Ryan. So they're like, okay, so it's either going to be James or it's going to be Ryan. Which one is more of a threat? And they all conclude that socially, James is the bigger threat. And honestly, in this moment, if I was in Survivor, I was thinking I would have pushed for Ryan. Because knowing James is more of a social threat, he's more capable of scurrying his way out of this vote. If it was me, I would have been like, I feel like right now we should just try to get out Ryan. I don't think he's going to be able to pull out an idol or pull out an advantage. I feel like he's just a flop. Let's just vote him out and then move forward. And nobody said that. And it's like, maybe, I don't know. So we move. Plus, I probably would have had a better relationship with James, but we move. So James is now the target. So the idea is that they're going to split the votes 4 and 4. 4 on James, 4 on Ryan. And we should be good. Like, we'll just vote out James after that. Then we get a conversation. And we are at the water well. James, Owen, Dwight, and Sammy, and other people, there was a lot of people there, find a bottle in the water well. They pull out the bottle, but really it's James who pulls it out. And James is the first one to see it. And he sees that there's a clue to an advantage. It says that under the shelter, there's an advantage. Go get it. Just like that. He had read it in front of everybody. He's like,
and this is what scared me, because I'm just like, because this is the second time I feel like, well, not even the second time, but like like one thing about James, he seems pretty just open with his gameplay. Like he seems very like he's quick to announce something to a lot of people. And in this situation, this is something that he had no choice because it was right there in the goddamn water well, which I feel like it's just so messy for a survivor. Like you just throwing shit right in like someone was going to be able to like this is going to happen regardless. Like, and I'm even shocked it didn't cause that much chaos. But it's like I really got scared of James in this moment because it's like one, it seems like the girls are very quick to want to say his damn name, and this is just another target that could be potentially on his back.
Literally. So, Dwight was there when James got it. So we see that James goes and he just goes and gets the advantage. He lies to them. He tells them, I'm gonna wait till after tribal to get it. He doesn't do that. He goes, he gets the advantage. It's the knowledge is power advantage. And girl, look, Isabel says James beat the knowledge is power accusations, and it's like not just yet,
not just yet, child. Not just yet.
I'm rooting for him. I am. Clearly, he beat it a little bit because he didn't go home. So we see after this, Dwight goes and he tells Janine and Noelle, his allies, that James has the advantage. This is when Noelle was like, I'm telling everybody. Noelle gets up. She starts telling everybody, James has this advantage. It has to be James. It just has to be James. It can't be Ryan. I was wavering after.
Are you really in a position to go around and tell people? Like, I just feel like Noelle has not occupied the type of position in the game for her to wake up all of a sudden and think, oh, I'm about to control this vote. I was like, okay.
It's the time. Yeah. Okay. So as she does that, Jesse gets his Omer moment. The vote has gone around. Noelle spread her agenda. We have the 2 votes. And then Jesse's like, we could do that. Or. Let's take out Noelle. Because she thinks she's big and bad. So Jesse goes to Carla, who he trusts. And this is how you know Carla's that girl. Because everyone else is in this Vessi Baca alliance. And Jesse, when he wants to defer from this, he goes straight to Carla. My top 2 picks too. My top 2 picks. He goes straight to Carla because Carla clearly has a better social relationship. I also noticed that Jesse and James had a good social relationship. So it just shows that James, Carla, and Jesse are probably just the it girls. So Jesse goes to Carla and he's like, hey, who are you thinking? And Carla's like, Noelle thinks she's that girl, and she's really just not. And Jesse's like, girl, same. Room. He says, I don't really trust Noelle the way I trust Carla. Me and Carla have so much in common. She's that girl.
Pharaoh did call.
Which I did clock. So he was like, maybe me and Cody can do something. So Jesse goes to Cody and he says, Cody, how about Noelle? And Cody was like, actually, maybe Dwight, because me and Dwight don't have a relationship. And I feel like in another season, in another scenario, I would be like, why do you want Dwight out instead of Noelle? Like, do you even talk to Noelle? Woo. But we've seen very clearly that Dwight does not talk to Cody, and he doesn't care to talk to Cody, and he doesn't like Cody. So I really can't really be mad. Plus, early in the episode, Dwight made an alliance, and he wanted to exclude Cody and Jesse. And who's spying right back on that ass?
Exactly.
So Cody was like, how about Dwight? And honestly, Jesse and Dwight were close, so I was expecting Jesse to maybe try to push back. But Jesse was honestly like, I mean, okay, sure. He had a diary room.
I think it's like,
I love this diary room. So
it's like, I think definitely, like I mentioned earlier, like we didn't get to see it, but I think Dave definitely experienced it. So clearly, Dwight is definitely closer to Owen, and I think Jesse noticed that separation because the way he was so quick to be like, well, Dwight can go. And initially, I'm just like, and I still kind of feel this way. I don't know about him targeting his own tribe members like that. Like, I understand we're in merge, and it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be tribal lines, but I think for the most part, each of the tribes, majority of them are deferring back to tribe alliances. So I just feel like, why go after Noelle and Dwight when you don't necessarily have to? Like, the vote could have been someone else, maybe someone else on Baca.
Sammy.
Like, it'd have to be your number because at the end of the day, Dwight and Noelle were Jesse's number at least temporarily. But
what if he like that? My thought process was, well, not really my thought process, but as you're talking, I'm thinking we don't know how they are viewing things when they're out there. So we saw how close Owen and Dwight and Owen were walking around together all day together. So I'm thinking like maybe Jesse was just like, I know I don't have Dwight no more, so I don't care. Like, I know I don't have Noelle Dwight no more. They hang out with Baca all the time. And in that scenario, it's kind of like, well, it's in your face. Like, you literally Owen and Dwight sucking each other dick all day.
Mm-hmm.
What else are you gonna think? So I was like, I guess that's that. But honestly, I agree with you. Y'all could have voted out Owen. Because Owen might get you out.
I mean, just like someone other than like someone like even though Dwight and Noel are probably someone that could be dangerous, someone that you don't trust later on. I just like personally, I wouldn't feel comfortable going after two people who are at least pretending like they're working with me because earlier in this episode we didn't see Dwight mention Cody and Owen being a part of that, but I mean Cody and Jesse being a part of that. But later when it got down to the vote, they said the 4 and 4, Baca and Vesey. So I just feel like. I don't know. Like,
and maybe he was like, I'm thinking hard now because I'm defending my man. Maybe because now we know Sammy was a part of that voting block. And in that case, maybe he was like, well, Sammy's never gonna vote Owen out. So I have to say a name that's gonna have the 7 people who we need because they needed 7 votes this round to vote together. And maybe that was it. Like we needed Sammy's vote. Sammy's not gonna vote any of the Baca out. Let's just do what we gotta do. But I don't know. Child, we move. So after this, Jesse and Cody decide. Jesse has a diary room, and I love this diary room because Jesse says, yeah, I'm closer to Dwight, but getting out of Dwight still hurts Noel, which is what I want. And on top of that, I can make Cody feel like he has power, when in reality, he does not. Exactly. And I love that because that's exactly what you need to do. That's exactly what you need to do. Cody's always going to feel comfortable with Jesse, I feel.
And he does. He basically said in the episode, he said, I mean, wherever Jesse does, I'm right on board with it. Like, that's his ride or die. And it's really good, I feel like, especially to be such a power player like Jesse, to have people like Cody who is not going to waver from him at all. I think all of the power players have that person under them that's willing to do that. And honestly, now I'm saying that, I think that honestly could have been Shan's biggest downfall. I mean, her minion turned on her. The minion can't turn on you.
She didn't really have a minion. Like, Ricard is not a minion. You can't stun Ricard. And that was her issue. She should have had a son. Well, she had Leon. Ooh, no shade. She kind of had Leon. But we move. So, James, having the knowledge power advantage, decides that he's going to give the knowledge away. So, once again, and it's like, come on, bro. Why do y'all always tell people about this fucking advantage? But his
I just don't. I can't excuse it. I can't excuse it.
Similar to who got it earlier this season? Gio?
Gio, yeah.
Similar to Gio. People knew you had an advantage. People didn't necessarily know Gio had it, but with James, had an advantage. So his thought was, I have to tell somebody I have an advantage because everyone knows I have an advantage. So I kind of get it when people know you have it. And I think that's the problem with Survivor. It's like, stop having people know people have shit. Because if no one knew he had it, he probably still would have did it. But people didn't know. So he was like, people know I have it. I need to tell my allies. So he tells Carla and Ryan, which is the Coco allies. And then he tells Cody, which is his bestie allies. And he's like, hey, I got the knowledge power advantage. But this makes Cody think, I don't know. Like, now I know he has a knowledge power advantage, and I have an idol, and he knows I have an idol. So do I want him in the game? I don't know.
And this is why I just don't think it's smart to tell anybody. Like, at the end of the day, he did not go home this episode, and kudos to James for that. Once again, I feel like he turned the tide on what could have eventually been him going home. But it's just not smart because that thought is there. And, like, the fact that Cody knew that he knew, Cody knew James knew he had a goddamn advantage. And you're telling Cody, I have a power that can steal the advantage that I know you have. It's just, I don't think it's smart. It's just not smart. It's just not smart.
This is this right there. Zari says, I don't think there's really a good way to play it. And I kind of agree. Because you're right. It's not smart. But you got to remember the next scene after this, people who he didn't tell are assuming he has it anyway. So everyone who's not with him, the Dwight, Noel, Janine, and Owen are assuming we know he has an advantage. It's probably the knowledge power advantage. So it's like if all of your enemies assume you have it and none of your allies know what to think, then you're probably going to get fucked and screwed. So I feel like him telling them in a way was helpful because they know they can trust him. And that's why it's hard to play the knowledge power advantage, right? I agree with Zari because I want to tell my allies about my advantages, especially if you know I have an advantage. They knew he had something. So it's kind of like, fuck, I kind of got to tell them. And you can't lie in Survivor because the advantages come with an oath. So you have to tell them the actual advantage. So I feel like it's honestly, it probably is just a bad advantage.
I think
because if it never worked.
It's a lot of qualities that go into it. Like one of which being them being so known now. I mean, without him telling half the Merge tribe, they were able to figure out that he had the knowledge and power advantage from the previous seasons. And it's like that in itself is a fault, which is why Jeff doesn't need to do this same exact shit a season over thinking bitches won't catch on.
Literally. So this is when we get the scene of Dwight suggesting that everybody needs to trade their advantages so he can't clock them. So Dwight tells Janine to go ahead and give him her idol. So Janine gives Dwight his idol. They also decide to have Owen take Noelle's still a vote. So as of now, Owen has Noelle's still a vote, and Dwight has Janine's idol. So we go into tribal life. So at this point, we don't know if Dwight's going to be the vote or if James is going to be the vote. Because Jesse is saying that I have the opportunity to either go the easy route, take out James, stick with this alliance, or I can make my own route and take out Dwight and weaken Noelle. And now I have my new alliance with Carla Dem. So, and I feel like Carla Dem is more trustworthy. Because I'm thinking of Ryan. I think Ryan's very trustworthy. Cody definitely won't turn on him. I think his relationship with Carla is very strong. So I do think that he kind of did chose the right route, because if he did go with Dwight and Noelle, they were just talking about not having him in the 6. And the people he would have been voting with would have been a 6-person alliance plus him and Cody. And it's like, ooh, basically Jesse and Cody didn't go with a 6-person alliance that was already formed to inform their new core. So honestly, I'm here for it. I appreciate it. So we get to tribal, and the tribals are just not eating. Like,
they're not. The girl's not getting up. They're not talking. It's just like, where's the chaos? Like, it's crazy because I feel like this merch is just slightly more chaotic than what we've seen. It's just so controlled. Like, I don't know how to like really analyze it, because it's just like they're not. I just feel like they're not going all in with the gameplay. Like, it doesn't feel like anyone's really fighting for the win. Like, they really want these things to go through. Majority of it's just kind of like, I feel like going with the flow. And it's just like...
You know what? Like, thinking about it, if the last season I watched was Shan's season, and I could see myself thinking, I need to be a little bit less bold. Because the main reason it seemed like Shan got out is because Shan was such a bold player. And so it happened with Evie that season. That season had like 2 major bold ass players, a few major bold players, and all of them kept going home for being so bold and being so up in the front. So I could see them thinking, like, I just got done watching the season where all the people who were playing hard went home. I need to play it a little bit more subtle, like the winner. What was the winner's name? That's the woman's name. That girl. So I understand how maybe I just watched 41. This is the new era. That's the only thing I have for the new era. Coming into here, I got to play. Because that's the thing. I think the hardest players are Jesse and Carla. And they're playing strategically, but just so subtly. And I think it's because they know if they play it a little bit too hard that they're going to end up going home. But so the tribal was boring. I'm not even going to play in y'all face. We get to the votes. And we see that Jesse ends up choosing the route of taking out Dwight. So Dwight goes home. And it's like, damn. Oh, Erica. That's that girl name. I'm so sorry, y'all. I know y'all saying don't play her. She wasn't in the show until episode 7. I'm sorry. Like,
hate to say it.
I'm sorry. Shout out to Erica. We love a POC winning the game. We love Filipinas. Like, she ate it up. Great game. But so we see that Dwight goes home. And we see with the vote reveal that it was Coco, Cody, and Jesse, and Sammy who voted out Dwight. So that's a 7-person voting block that they created to get Dwight out. I'm assuming Sammy, because of Carla, we saw at the beginning of the episode or in the middle of the episode that Carla and Sammy were pretty close. They were talking about the vote initially. So I'm assuming, honestly, Carla ate it up. I hate to say it because she has her Coco girls. She's the closest with Jesse. She seems to be the closest with Sammy.
Yeah.
Carla's
eating. I feel like Carla is definitely eating the tribe up. I think Jesse's doing pretty well. I think James is, of course, obviously good at damage control. It's giving Olivia Pope down, I fear. Eating it up. So,
and I just want to say shout out to us because look who was in our top 3. Like,
we knew. We
Her
know.
lines.
Now, was
Where
Dwight a little bit too high? To be fair, we
I
didn't
don't
have
think
much
so. I don't
information.
think so. Because, to be fair, Jesse said Noel. It would have been Noel. Noel was right behind them. Was he high, or was everybody else just not worth getting out? We're going to take out... Gabler was immune. Who we going to take out? Cassidy? I don't know. Somebody... A threat had to go home. So, at least it was one of our lowest ones. He was number 6, not 5, 4, or 3. Like, we ate it up. I don't know what to tell you. So, let's get into these motherfucking player ratings. Dwight, unfortunately, went home. Y'all, they were coming after the blacks, the girls, and the gays.
Real bad. Like...
Real bad. Because Gio was out. And, wait, I have a question, y'all, about Tribal. Can y'all please comment? Because Janine Idol was in Dwight's possession when he got
and then you peep her every time they compare. She got her arm. See now me, if this was I would have had to tell Dwight before he walked up out of here. Hold on, Jeff. Hold on, production. Mm-hmm. Dwight, give me the idol.
Can y'all comment? Do y'all know? Can Dwight give his idol to Janine while the votes are being read? Because I was telling Lee, I was like, wait, maybe he can't because I've never seen it happen. But Lee was like, well, shit, it's never been a chance to happen. And that's true. Mm-hmm. So now I don't know. But I want to know, like, why would he not give her damn idol back? Like,
no one knows, though. No one knows if she has it or not. I'm assuming she did not get it because I feel like we would have saw that trade-off. It makes no sense why he would walk out without it. I don't know if that was just her being passive, but like I said, I know me.
But didn't she
I would have got my fucking idol.
I would have got my idol too. I see somebody say yes. Okay, I trust y'all. Why he didn't give her idol? I don't know. I would have been mad at Dwight. I would have like.
I'm hoping we just didn't see it because there's no way. Because honestly, I'd be a little bit more disappointed than Janine. Because how you let him walk past that without your idol, babe?
You think
that's
she was thinking,
your idol?
You think she was thinking, oh, people don't know I have it, but if I do this,
they're
gonna know I have it.
Fuck the bullshit. Get your idol.
Mm-hmm. Get your idol. It's top 10, baby. Like, get your idol.
It's top 10. This is not regular Survivor that you gotta do all type of shit for an idol. Get your idol.
I think Janine will be okay without it.
Honestly, it probably helps her.
I think her path to win is okay without it.
She does not come off that much as a threat. I just feel like the idol was something that could have helped her make a big move. And without it, is she able to make that big move? Is my fear.
Exactly. Not yes, Lee. I'm stopping the whole thing.
Wait! Stop
the count. Stop the count. Dwight, before he reads this last vote.
Even that's the thing. Dwight was over here gagged that he was getting votes. I would have been like, okay.
I do like that she was trying to be cute and sneaky about it because at least she was like, give me my idol back.
And I respect that. But once the last vote was read and he got his ass up, I would have stood up too.
And I think Dwight took her idol because he felt like he was the safest of them all because he's like, if anybody turns, it's probably not going to be on me. And it's like, ooh, that's awkward. But we move.
Right.
So how do you feel about Dwight as an overall player? He got 11th place, 12th?
Yeah. I just feel like, I don't know. Like, I feel like with these players, I see so much potential. And then when they're getting cut, it's just like, well, there's a lot of mistakes leading up to this moment. It's the reason why this kind of happened. Like, I feel like with Dwight, we saw him early pre-merge. He didn't have much control over his game. He wasn't the one getting brought into these majority alliances. People weren't really being attached to him as closely. He had Jesse, but then that got ruined. He had Noel, but I mean, we didn't even see that flourish because he went home so early. I just feel like Dwight never really had his Survivor story. He was never able to really be a strategic person. He was the biggest social person. He didn't get really that many advantages. I mean, the fact that he went home in the way he did, it was like, well, damn, like, he was kind of just here. He was kind of just here. So honestly, I feel like I'm gonna just say it's a 2. I just feel like we didn't see much about his game. We didn't see much of his game as a real player. You know what I mean? Okay. So I just like I can't go much higher than what we've already seen. Like him as an active player in the game was like 5, 6-ish because he's in an okay position and he's safe. But now he's out. And the way he went home was like, I'm not gonna say he could have avoided it because it's not like he knew, but I just feel like it's not like he's the biggest threat there. He doesn't have an advantage. Like, why the fuck is Dwight going home in this spot by members of his own tribe turning on him?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make any sense to me. It's no.
Oof. Yeah,
because that's the thing. Not one single person that has gone home has been a good player, in my opinion. Yeah. Sometimes we get those players who are just doing too much and they get sent home. We got those players who get sent home because they're actual threats. Mm-hmm. No one has been sent home for that. No one has been sent home for being a real, just like, well, the verbiage has been used with like Mariah, and then what was that other girl on Vessi, the pretty girl? I forget her name.
Justine?
Justine. Like, the verbiage has been used like, oh, they're a threat, they have to go. But are these people
in reality threats? It wasn't there. Yeah. And I do feel like Dwight is an okay player game-wise, like strategy-wise. However, I feel like socially is where he was lacking, because not even just socially and a little bit game-wise too, because I don't think letting Nneka go was good for Dwight. Nneka had a great relationship with Dwight, and Dwight was very okay with that. He didn't even care. He was like, Noelle, yeah, we're gonna buddy up. I feel like he should have just let Noelle go that round, to be honest, because that would have been someone who he had a relationship with, but then they did win those challenges. But we moved. I also feel like Dwight has a lack of social skills, because Cody knowing you hated him the entire season is not good gameplay. How does someone literally know you don't like them the entire season? You should have been pretending, playing in his face, something. When we got to merge, it doesn't seem like anyone was bending over backwards for you. Your only relationship outside of Noelle, which was a forced relationship through strategy, low-key, because Dwight was closer to Justine than Noelle. What's Owen? And it's like, Owen's the only person in Baka who you actually have a real relationship with. It seemed like he had a relationship with Janine, I will say. But it's like, that's it. There's so many people in this tribe. There's 12 people. You needed to have your bases covered. The fact that Jesse, your married partner, flipped on you, it's just, I don't know. I just felt like that was bad. But I'll give Dwight a 4. I feel like he's the best player of the people who got voted out. So
yeah, I'll say that. Honestly, I'll bring it up to a 3 for that.
Yeah, I just feel like, there's really not much else to say, because he wasn't really eating, and not just him. This cast is just not eating in general.
It's just not. Like, there's only a few people who are gonna go home, and it's like, oh, this is a game-changing decision.
Yeah.
And that would be fucking, in my opinion, James, Carla, or Jesse.
Mm-hmm. Everybody else who
game-changing,
and I think it's such a culture shock, because the last 2 seasons, every vote, it was like, damn, you're out? Like, damn, you're out every single vote. And I think that's why it's like, ooh, this is just mid, because no one is really giving it. No one's really playing hard. Or if they're playing hard, they're not playing well, or it just doesn't seem like they are. It's just not giving, honestly. So let's go ahead and get into Cassidy. We gave Cassidy a 4.5 last week. How are you feeling about Cassidy this week?
I think I'm gonna just keep it to 4.5. We haven't seen much from her. We know that she is protected from the Coco 4. It looks like, and I wondered this: how is it gonna break up with them being in marriage 4, 4, and 4? How is it gonna shake up? It looks like Coco is being smart and sticking together as a 4, and Baka is fractured and Vessi is fractured. So I do feel like she's protected on that front. You know, because people need numbers, they're going to go to someone like Cassidy. I mean, we saw in the preview, she's the person that's going to get approached when they want someone to flip. The bad thing is that Cassidy, if she stays with Coco, she has 2 of the best players in the season, James and Carla, above her. And she will have to get one of the 2 out. Well, both out if she plans on winning. Yeah. And then other than that, we would just need to see more strategic ability from her, more of a social game. Just, that fight that I feel like we saw in Cassidy game. Like, she made it seem like she was going to come in here and really just manipulate and strategize and just be this social, the next Kim Spradlin bitch. Like, and it's just not giving that. And I understand. I'm not going to blame her too much for that, because once you get into the game, I'm sure it's very different. It just, it really sucks, because I don't see a path for her. And safety is only going to go so far. Like, she's going to have to start using it. But I didn't see any negative thing this episode, so I'll just keep it at the 4.5.
I will give her a 4. I feel like the further the game progresses, the quicker she needs to step it up. And I just feel like she hasn't. And I feel like that's why I just kind of want to start bringing her down, because it's like, girl, you haven't really done much. Your social game doesn't seem pretty good. It doesn't seem like your strategic game is there. She's not really doing anything. We haven't seen her. She's literally invisible.
Yeah.
It does seem like she's someone that might get approached to flip. But like you said, if she does end up going, and that's the thing, if she ends up going with the 7 that they're referring to, that means Jessie will be in that 7 also. And how you gonna get Jessie out? Like now you have all of the best players in your alliance, and what are you gonna do about that? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, Cassie's just giving +1. It's like it has to give more than that. I mean, she's virtually irrelevant on the edit, which is not good for her either.
At all. And I feel like we'll see, child. It's just gonna be a 4 for me. Cody, I do feel like Cody is I don't feel like Cody's necessarily a good player, but I do think Cody is in a good position because he's so tied to a strong player. He's the closest non-good player tied to a strong player because Carla's best ally is James, and they're both good players on their own right. Jessie is the only one dragging another player, I feel, along, and I feel like Cody gets the benefit of Jessie's good gameplay, and so that makes him seem a little bit better positioned than everyone else because he's attached to a great player. However, himself, he's just not eating. I will say, because Jessie is allowing him to think he's that girl, Dwight went home, and that was good for Cody because Dwight probably would have got Cody out in the future if that did happen. So I feel like that was good for him. I feel like it is good that he's with Jessie. It's good that he might be in this group of people, but he doesn't seem to have his own game in any way when it comes to socially or strategically. And I feel like that's going to be a downfall for him. It's going to be hard for him to win the game being Jessie's little bitch, I feel. So I'm just going to have to give Cody what did I give him last week? I gave him a 4 last week. I'm going to give him a 4 again.
Yep. I feel like, he was part of a really big decision this episode, but it was mainly because of Jessie wanting to flip. And I don't know how good this is for Cody because at this point, him going with Coco, Cody's allies are Jessie's allies. His allies could have been Dwight and what's that girl name, Noelle, but he didn't want to extend that relationship. We haven't seen him with anything with Baka, and he is just definitely someone who I think name is gonna get brought up easily as we keep going forward. Strategically, he is just not there. He definitely relies a lot on Jessie, and that's very clear. And I feel like I just can't. I don't have faith that he would be able to make strategic decisions moving forward in the game that's going to benefit him. Because so far we haven't seen that. We see him defer to his allies at all times, and it's just not good, at least for right now. So I think I'm gonna bring him down to a 4 as well.
Sure. How do you feel about Gabler, Daddy Gabler?
Child, honestly, Gabler low-key eating it up. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I will say we don't really know how they would vote with him being not safe, because we've had 2 rounds with all of them voting, and Gabler has been safe both of those times. We know Gabler ass can get annoying. We know he talks a lot. We know he gets paranoid, and the gums start yapping. So we have really no idea how Gabler is going to be affected when he is actually available to be voted out of the game. It does seem like there is a voting block of 7, which would be all of Coco, Jessie, Cody, and Sammy. I know for a fact Sammy is not going to be that loyal to that, just from what we've seen from him already. And in the preview for next episode, I don't believe that's the case. But I don't think Sammy necessarily is going to stick his neck out for Gabler either. And I'm mentioning Sammy because I feel like that's low-key Gabler's closest ally, Sammy. We've only seen Sammy give information out to Gabler. No one else tells him really anything. And socially, I don't see who he's connected to, really. So I feel like, honestly, he got the individual immunity. He stays safe these next 2 rounds. I'm gonna have him at a 4 as well, just because honestly, at this point, he's in much danger to the rest of these people. That we give him 4s to. You know what I mean? I don't think he's definitely not there strategically. Not that much there socially. I don't know what's going on in Gabler's mind. He just getting out Ellie and winning immunities. But we're at a point to where I feel like Gabler's in a position that if he just don't annoy people, he might can slip his way to that final 3. Now, I don't know if he has the story. I don't know if he'd have more more strategic moves to get the win. Because I do feel like getting out Ellie could be something they could put on his resume. If he does other people here and there, then who knows? But, he's in an interesting situation. So it's a 4 for me.
Yeah, I gave him a 1.5, and honestly, y'all call me a ageist or something because I only gave him 1.5 because I didn't think he could win immunities. And where were I getting that? Where was I getting that from? Honestly, he was doing bad in the immunities as a tribe, but he clearly can win immunities. So me giving him a 1.5 is no longer valid. That was one of my main reasons. So I feel like I am gonna bring him up. I still feel like it's gonna be really hard for people to respect him as a player. I said last time I don't see him sitting next to two people who he could just get the chance to beat. Because even though we talk about how these players aren't that good, when I'm actually looking and thinking about it, if Sammy gets to the end, I feel like the jury's gonna be like, Sammy ate it up. I'm sorry, we all loved him. If Owen gets to the end, they're gonna be like, low-key Owen ate it up. We weren't in alliance with him and he made it to the end. So the issue is that if these people do make it to the end, it's gonna be hard for Gabler to sit next to two people and get voted above both of them. I know that's far away, but shit, what else do I have to go off of? He doesn't really have allies. He doesn't really have a social game. No one really likes him. No one even trying to bring him in. When they made the voting block, they didn't go to him. No one trusts him. People think he's going to be erratic. It gets talked about every episode. So I'm just going to bring him up from a 1.5 to a 2.5 because he can win individual immunities. And we'll leave it there. Daddy King James. So last episode, James was our highest rated player. We gave him an 8.25 average. I gave him an 8.5. We gave him an 8. And it's interesting because he was the other vote this round. He could have went home. I think it's amazing that he didn't, honestly, because that was a lot of work. Like, James is a clear threat. I feel like he's clearly a threat. The way they talked about how he's clearly the social threat, he clearly is the bigger threat of him and Ryan. It just made me feel like, dang, he low-key could just go home and that could just be the episode. But he did not. And that's due to his social relationship with Jesse, his social relationship with Cody. I think those things really helped. We saw him tell Cody and Jesse information 2 episodes in a row that made them trust him. Like, they trust him to an extent because they just saved him over Dwight, who was on their original tribe. So it's like that really, really shows how good he is as a player. Honestly, he also got saved from Carla's social game, I feel like Carla's social game really helped him, but that's his closest ally. So it's like he's eating it up. I feel like giving him an 8.5 is now scary because I didn't know they knew he was that girl when I gave him that 8.5. But clearly they know he's that girl. So that's going to have to bring him down a little, a chunk for me. So I'm going to put him at a 7 this round. I feel like he's kind of in the light. But with Survivor, shit shifts so fast. Even though he was the other vote, he's probably not even going to get one vote next episode. To be honest.
But and see, that's what my fear is coming in at, because I feel like I was okay with him, was still giving him the 8 last round, because I felt like even though he had faced so much adversity, he had gotten through it, and it was mainly his own work. And I feel like this round, because of some of his own work, he was able to face the adversity again and get through it. But I feel like he's really made some mistakes. For one, telling people that he has the knowledge is power advantage. People are scared about the knowledge is power advantage. Almost everyone who went home with it, they went home. Well, damn near everyone who went home with it, they went home because they had it and they told someone about it, or someone else knew about it. So the fact that he willingly told like 3 to 5 other people, it's just like, I don't like immediately. It's just like, whoa. And I just like that. Like I've recognized that in James' game before. Like I said, he's a pretty open player. You know what I mean? I think it's right in your face, which is why people are starting to see it. And my fear is that now that they have this 7 voting block, who I do not think Sammy is that loyal to, if there is a switcheroonie, he may be one of the bigger targets because he's the bigger name on that side. His name has already been said. It's been 2 rounds in a row he's been getting votes. I mean, it's just scary for me with him. I'm gonna say it's a 7 as well, because even though all of those things are true, his social game is so good that it didn't even fucking matter. Like, he's a really polarizing character because there are people who are like, well, he can go home, he's out. And then they have people who are literally fighting to keep him in the game. Like, Jesse, it didn't take much for him to be like, oh, well, I like Carla. James is cool. Noel can go. And Noel is on his tribe. So I feel like clearly that shows how well James has been doing socially. It's just, I don't know. It is getting scary because it's like, he's great in adversity, but it's like, he's not bringing down the threat level. Like, I think people are probably even more scared of him after this episode because of the advantage he has. I just wish he didn't go share it like that. And I understand people know he has an advantage, but girl, that could have been anything else, I fear. But at the same time, it's also on production because they were able to guess that he probably had a knowledge power, which is why all of this other shit happened anyway. So it's just like he's in a really precarious position, I feel.
I agree. Next we have Janine. I really like Janine. I feel like Janine has very big potential to be a good player, to maybe even be a winner, because the way she thinks is so savvy. I feel even just seeing the preview for next episode after losing her idol, you can tell that she's like really putting in work to get people to flip to her side. And if it's successful, then I'll be able to reflect it in her score. But right now, Janine's just in such an icky position because I don't think Janine chooses her allies well, because she's choosing to go with people like Gabler, who in front of her face told people about her idol. Yep. Who in front of her face was saying, I'm voting Ellie. I don't care. Yep. So it's like she
switched her idol with Dwight, who just went home with it.
She switched her idol with Dwight, and it's like, why are you switching your idol with Dwight? Like, I don't know, just because he told her to, kind of, and it's like, sure, he might have the knowledge of power advantage, but is he going to take it from you, Janine? Who are you? You know, but she did. People knew she had it, so I guess so, but he did not do it. And now you don't have an idol. And now Dwight's gone. And it's like, I just feel like, she just kind of is too lax with going with the flow. I think whoever just chooses to be her ally, she just goes with. She trusts them a lot. She kind of views the game from their point of view. Like, I felt like she started viewing Dwight similar to how she viewed Ellie. Like, oh, Dwight knows what he's talking about. He tells me to give his idol. He's going to tell Owen to do da-da-da. Like, he got this. And it's like, babe, you need to, like, take the shit in your own hands and take the balls. And I think she might do that next episode. It looks like she's the one who's like, let me go get Cassidy to flip. And if that's the case, that's iconic, but we haven't seen that. So I'm going to keep her at the 4.5, honestly.
Yeah, no, I really like what
she doesn't have idol.
Exactly. I really like what I saw about Janine early in this episode. I had a lot of faith for her, but we can't ignore this is the second time she's not voted with the majority. She is not in on the shits at all, for real. And the thing is, like you mentioned, it's just like, once again, she is kind of just going with what other people are saying, and that is what fucked her up with Ellie, because Ellie didn't know what the fuck she was doing. And it's just like, Janine, you have to take this game into your own hands. And I think on top of that, she may have just lost her idol as well, which takes away the little bit of agency that she did have. And it's just like, I don't like that at all. Going off of the little bit of preview we did get, you see that it's kind of like a split with, like I said, the voting block of 7, and then Sammy and Baca is trying to do a whole separate other thing. I just feel like, where's Janine falling at? Is Janine going to be someone that they're just pulling along with to try and get this vote flip to happen? Or is she going to be a pioneer in this? I think, especially with what's happening, with so many women leaving and so many men being left in the game, these men are just naturally going to want to defer to other men. The only woman who has agency in this merge is Carla. None of these other women have that agency. And I think that's because of the lack of women left in the goddamn game. Most of these men are just working together. So I just feel like that scares me, because then she's just under Owen and Sammy, who are also 2 great players. You know what I mean? So it's just like, Janine.
And they're not being women in the game is kind of directly because of Janine. Janine should have stepped in like she thought and said, let's not vote out Mariah, let's vote out Gabler. And it would have been deaded right there. Gabler would not be here. It would probably be Mariah. And then there would be one more woman in the game, one less man. That would make it, 6-5 instead of 8-4 of men and women. And it's like, that still goes back to decisions that Janine did not make,
Yeah.
So
it just sucks. I like Janine a lot on a personal level. Like, I want her to be that iconic underdog story, but like at this point, I'm just not seeing it. It's gonna be a 4.5 for me as well.
Yep. How you feeling about my man?
Honestly, Janine can be a 4.
Damn. How you feeling about my man?
I like Jesse. We got more about him because we didn't see, like, from the transition from the pre-merge to merge, we haven't seen much of Jesse in the driver's seat. So I'm happy to see him back in the driver's seat. He is the one who kind of catapulted this vote to happen. It was him slipping that got Dwight out. Here's just my issue with it, and I spoke on this a little bit earlier. Is this smart? I know that he felt like Dwight is not that trustworthy, and we can glean from what we saw in the episode. Dwight kind of low-key dropped Jesse duoship for Owen. But I do feel like Dwight and Noelle, to a certain extent, are loyal to Jesse and Cody just from being on Vessi alone. I don't think that they were just 100% trying to go with all of Baca and say, fuck the other two are Vessi. They could have been, but we didn't see that information. But we did see Jesse basically just say, fuck Noel and Dwight. And I don't know how smart that is, because if we're looking at the voting block of 7, it's 4 Coco who are all close. You have Carla and James who've been besties, and Cassidy and Ryan who have no choice but to stay loyal, because what the fuck else are they going to go do? And then you have Sammy, who Loki isn't even loyal to the voting block of 7, but he's the lone Baka. So I just don't, I don't know. I just feel like this is not a secure power structure for Jesse at all. You're in it with the 2 other best players in the game, so it's really scary for me. I'm scared for him, because I just feel like without his 4 being locked, he loses a lot of that agency. Cody is not doing much for him. Cody has an idol, but it's not that's not going to be much help. I feel it really depends, because honestly, one idol vote could change the entire game, depending. But it's just like, I don't know. I think it was a big move, but was it smart? I am not confident in saying it was. I don't know. So for me, it is a 6.5. I think he is a good player. I think he's someone that's going to push his agenda, and clearly he has the agency to make sure what he wants to happen is to happen. But I have to see that this is a secure thing for him, because all we've seen, that's the thing, what we know about Jesse is that he was close with Dwight, who he turned on and is out. He never had a relationship with Noel, which he likely will not now. He's close with Cody, and he's had a relationship with James and Carla, who we know have loyalties to other people. So I'm just like, Jesse, baby. I don't know. It's scary. It's just scary. But I think influence and power alone, I'm fine with the 6.5.
Yeah, and honestly, I agree with what you're saying. I see where you're coming from. However, on the flip side, I do feel like if
protect your man, girl.
Okay, I feel like if Jesse is analyzing the people he's going with, which is the Baka Vessi group, he knows Noel and Dwight are closer to Baka. He knows Baka is a Baka 4, so he's going with a Baka 4 and Noel and Dwight. So he's at the bottom of that. He's at the bottom of an 8-person alliance, and this is Survivor, and it's top 12. So to be at the bottom of an 8-person alliance, you and Cody, I don't think that's good. And I do think in this new situation, he could be at the top. It could be, we don't know, but it could be Carla, James, him, Cody, more so than it isn't. I feel like on the other side, he had no way really in. It was clear that Owen, Noel, Dwight, and Janine were really, really close already. So if that's the case, they're the core. And if they're the core and they all have idols and vote switches, then what the fuck are we going to do? And I just feel like we were shown that there was a 6 and there was a core 6, and and Jesse and Cody would have been 7 and 8. So I feel like him making this move is good, because now he's not 7 and 8 to a 8-person alliance. He is potentially either equal with Carla and James's power, or at least 5 and 4 instead of 7 and 8. And I feel like just because of that alone, because his options were vote out James or vote out Dwight. And so we're saying, oh yeah, he voted out Dwight. Was that smart? But if he voted out James, is that smart? Because now you're at the bottom.
It didn't have to be James, though. It didn't have to be James. It could have been Owen. It could have been.
And the only thing is, I feel like, and I said this on the phone, maybe it couldn't have been Owen, since they know Sammy's the 7th vote they need. Without Sammy's vote, they couldn't have did the vote. So I feel like we don't know all the information. That's the issue with edited shows, because like Survivor strategy shows, because we don't know shit. We really don't know anything. We don't know what they tell us. We're saying all of this, and literally all 3 days they've been at Merge, Owen and Dwight could have been sucking each other dick all day. And that could be why he's like, well, Dwight literally is with Owen and Baka, so who knows? Because we saw this episode, them in lockstep a lot of the time. So Jesse could just be seeing like, oh, they're literally besties. What happened to the marriage? He could have not talked to Dwight this whole time. We wouldn't know, because we really haven't seen much. But I'm gonna give him a 7. Just because he ran this vote. He did get out Dwight, but he ran the vote. He also changed the way the game was gonna go. He has some type of power, because even though Carla and James have Ryan and Cassidy, that doesn't mean they'll choose Ryan and Cassidy. They might like Jesse more than Ryan and Cassidy.
Yeah, and that's something that you always have to take into account, because while saying that critique, I realized it as well, because he mentions that he has a good relationship with Carla. You never know. Carla could feel mutual. It's just
but we don't know. We really don't know. Yeah. It's a chance that Jesse and Carla could just be like, I mean, we just like Jesse more. So bye, Ryan. And if that's the case, then that's good too. But we don't know. How you feeling about Mother?
Please, I love me some Carla. One thing that is consistent with Carla is that she is the person that the girls are going to refer to when it's time to vote. You always what's going on with Carla. She is so first socially. She is the best person on this island. I mean, everyone fucks with Carla. One of the main reasons why Sammy is even now in this voting block of 7 is because of Carla. Literally, Coco had no reason to be in the majority going into merge because we saw what happened pre-merge with the teams literally ganged up on Coco to get one of their members out. And the fact that they've been able to kind of really weave their way in and is now in a majority voting block is pretty iconic. And Carla, I feel like, is definitely in the center of that. No one's saying her name. She has a secret idol, and she has really solid connections. I feel like one thing I want to see from Carla moving forward is her moving the game a little bit more, just because I feel like in these strategic games, a lot of people, they do want to take that back seat. And I don't think anything's wrong with taking that back seat. But there comes a time where you are going to have to start, pushing some of these moves and really dictating what's happening, so that you can, have the layout you want when you get to the end. And I feel like Carla, we haven't necessarily seen that. Like, we haven't seen situations where I feel like, she wakes up and it's like, oh, is this going to be this person? And it shouldn't have to play like that. It's just, I feel like I've noticed a lot of times it's people coming to Carla and then Carla just taking the information. We haven't seen a lot of Carla being active with the information. I just hope that's not something that's going to come back to bite her. I don't know. But for me, it's a 7.5. She's getting my highest score because it's really just a consistency. Like, we keep seeing a consistent, great social game, good strategic game, just eating it up. Like I said, every time the vote happens, you go to Carla and see what the fuck she's voting because you want to know what Carla's doing. So I just feel like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to think about Carla because I just feel like the edit we've seen, it's like, has she been shown too much to be someone in that final 3 chairs that could potentially win? And I feel like, well, we haven't been seeing her that much recently, so is that a good thing? And then, but also, like, I don't know what that end game for Carla is going to be. You know what I mean? If she starts getting seen as a threat, can she maneuver out of that? You know what I mean? It's a lot. It's a lot of variables. But from what we've seen, I'm 7.5 for sure.
Yeah, I really like Carla. I like that she's been low key and she hasn't been taking control of the moves because I think I know that she can. And it's clear that she's choosing not to diminish her threat level. And I really like that. I think that's smart at this point. It's still very early. It's still double digits worth of people. And I know that if it is a smaller amount of people in the game, she can take control and run a vote because she's done it in the past. So I'm kind of still hopeful in that point. She also still has an idol, possibly the only idol people don't know about in the game still. So that's really good too. I feel like you said, Lee, I'm not confident in her in game. I think that's the only thing that makes me like, because I just don't see what's going to happen. But I will say her social game is clearly strong enough to not only save her, but also save James. I was telling Lee, I don't think if Carla and Jesse weren't close, I'm not confident that Jesse would have thought to do this anyways. So a part of the reason James is still here is because of Carla's social game. And that's crazy because her social game not only is saving her, but saving her closest allies. Because none of Coco went home. Also, Coco is the only group that is solid and still here, and that's mostly because of Carla. Carla's the one who had the relationship with Cassidy and the girls. James, who with her final 2 thing she got, and Ryan with her alliance she had with him. So Carla's in the center of that. Clearly, she's the one who brought in Jesse and Sam. We know that for a fact because this episode shows Sammy's closer to Carla and Jesse's close to Carla. So the entire 7-person alliance is through her except for Cody. And that's why I did give Jesse that 7, because the other person who has the power in the alliance is Jesse. If anyone can do anything, it's Jesse, I feel, more so than James. Just because Carla's the one with those relationships with Sammy and with Jesse. But James does also have a 7. See, they're just all 3 good. I love this 3. If this 3 makes it to like 6 or 7, top 6 or 7 together, it's gonna be like, ooh, what y'all gonna do?
They all working together, and I don't really see a reason for them to turn on each other anytime soon.
So I'm gonna give Carla the 8.
Period, mother.
Noelle. What did I give Noelle? I gave Noelle a 5 last round because she was giving 5, but now she's kind of in the minority of the cast. Like, she is the reason Dwight went home. People wanted to target her, and they were like, "Fuck it, let's just target Dwight." So she can definitely just be the next target. She clearly comes off as a little bit abrasive because the people said she thinks she runs the thing. Like she runs us, da 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 da. No one likes that. So I don't think that's positive for her. And she's also not strategically the best at all. She's kind of bad. So if that's the case, what is she really gonna do? I feel like I'm gonna have to give her really a 3.5. I don't see much game left for her. If she can wiggle her way out of this scenario, I feel like it'll only be for a round or two. Like it might be a round where they're like, "Oop, randomly we got to get out Ryan," and then that's it, and then we get out Noelle next. But I don't see much for her.
Yeah, I feel like positives with Noelle that we've seen is that she definitely is someone that is going to take that initiative. She's an active player. I think it slightly helped her in the past. It definitely didn't help her here. The issue is with her activeness is that she doesn't have a lot of strategicness behind it, and that is the biggest issue. Even with this move, it was like, oh, James got the power. James gotta go. Let me go around to everyone and say that James gonna have to go. And then it got spread to some of the allies that want to keep James very much safe. And then your closest ally went home. The good thing is she still has her vote still, which is really good for her. It's just without having the allegiances to help you with that vote still, I don't know how much it's actually going to work. And then another thing that really kept her on an okay level in the game is having Jesse and Cody. Now she doesn't have Dwight, Jesse, or Cody. So, yeah, it's really bad for Noelle. I think I'm going to say it's a 4. I really don't see her having much wiggle room. I have not much to say. I have not much to say at all. Noelle.
And you know what's funny about you saying, like, she found out James had a power and she was like, oh, he has to go? It's funny because when she had her die room, I thought she was going to say, I can't vote out James because he has a power and I don't know what it is. What if his power is something that can fuck me up? Or what if he plays his idol? What if it's an idol and he plays his idol? We shouldn't vote out James. We should vote out Ryan instead. So the fact that she didn't say that, I was like, oh, she's not that savvy about the way she thinks. She just hasn't showed any savviness about the way. So 3.5. Owen has given us not much at all. It seems like Owen is just scraping by because he's not the target this round. He hasn't been in any solid alliances. He clearly had a good relationship with Dwight and he was about to form something, but Dwight's gone. So Owen has just kind of been given a bad stick the whole time, but I also feel like he's just not active enough. I feel like his counterpart, Sammy is a really good player in my opinion, because the way Sammy's able to kind of maneuver himself and stay in a good position is amazing, because Sammy was always the one that the girls were going to choose in Baka. It was never Owen. And now Sammy's in the majority again because of his social game, because Carla, his social game with Carla was clearly there. So she brought him in, and being in the majority is so important in Survivor, even though none of the rest of the Baka is in it. Sammy is. So he's good. And I feel like Owen kind of is everything that Sammy isn't. That sounds so bad. But in the game, but strategically, I just feel like the things Owen needs to be doing is kind of what Sammy's doing, because they've been in similar positions the whole time. And he just isn't doing it. Honestly, like I gave him a 6 because it seemed like he had the ability to be strategic, the ability to do that. And he still seems that way. But as every round passes, you having the ability to do it is not enough, babe. You have to actually do it. You wanted to make a 6 with Dwight, and then you didn't do it. When y'all started talking about the vote, you had 0 input on it. Noelle was the one who brought up the idea of splitting votes 4-4. Noelle was pushing the fact that James did this. Owen, you were just there agreeing to the vote. And it's like, do something, because you're not in the best position at all. So I'm going to give him a 5.
Yeah, I feel like Owen is really interesting because I feel like the edit, like Edgic-wise, it seems like he's definitely someone that's destined to go far, potentially win this game, because he's someone, even though he's not necessarily doing the best in the game, he get a lot of moments. We see a lot of POVs from what's Owen doing. How do people, how does Owen feel about the game that's around him, even though I feel like he doesn't have that much agency as a player as of yet. I think that Owen, if he's someone to get in that power position, he could honestly use it well. A lot of the reason why I gave him that 6 last round is because I feel like he did have that potential. I saw him being in Sammy's position with Sammy, but it's very clear that he was not able to pull that off, because now he is not in the majority vote. He's been left out, and Baka is even more fractured than before. So it's just, I really don't know. I don't know where it goes from Owen. I don't think this 7 is going to necessarily stay loyal to each other. Especially with Sammy, not being 100% loyal to it. I do think Sammy would probably choose Owen, maybe all of Baka over any of the people in the 7. I can see Sammy being more loyal to them, even though he's going to save his ass at the end of the day. But with Owen, it's just he definitely is going to need that moment to finally come out on top. I don't know if that's going to be through Sammy flipping, some type of idol play, something that he does, but it's not looking too good for him. But it's weird because I feel like the Edgic makes us feel like that, like something's about Owen. Like he is definitely going to be in it for the long haul. It's just I don't know. It's definitely something we haven't seen. If he's going to stay here for the long haul, he's going to be in the final three. It's definitely not something we've seen yet. No shade. So it's a 5 for me as well. I don't know. I don't know where Owen goes. Like that was my biggest thing coming in. I just felt like, where are the numbers after Ellie goes? And now that Vessi and Coco, well, not Vessi, Jesse and Cody have joined Coco fully, it's like, I mean, they're losing numbers.
How are you feeling about Ryan?
We didn't get much of Daddy this episode again. Daddy, he's really just there. He's just in the clouds. Like, living his best life. I mean, he started getting votes this round. Why was he even an option? Like the fact that Ryan is doing nothing and is still an option for being a threat. It's like he didn't even win immunity. Like it's just like I don't get it. Like Ryan is just not. This game is not for him. I feel. I fear it's not for him. It's not. It's gonna be a 3. It's gonna be a 3. It's a 3 because I feel like we have not seen anything strategically, social, just game-wise good from Ryan. Anytime he suggested something to get shot down or ignored, they barely listen to him. And now he's getting votes. People see it as someone that actually can go home. I think it's good because he's in the 7 block majority, the 7 voting block majority. But the issue is that he's literally only just in it. And he, in my opinion, hasn't shown the ability to be able to overcome the position he's in my opinion. He just hasn't shown that. So, and similar to Cassidy, virtually irrelevant in the edit. I feel like, and I'm looking at her school, I'm like, should I bring her down? But I feel like with Cassidy, I feel like I have confidence that she has some strategic tinkering going on up there. Whereas with Ryan, it's just pretty face, perfect body, cute face in a Rari. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna give him a 4 because he is in the majority alliance. Like I said, I said this last episode and I still agree with it. He's still a man. And I feel like if there's any way that he stumbles his way to final 3, he might get respect just for being a man who made it to the end. He's also even though he's not in any strong allegiances within the people in his majority alliance, I do feel like if they become a threat, it might be likely that he's not the one who gets voted because even with him versus James, they said James have to go. So for Ryan to be kind of someone who might be able to win immunities, but not be seen as the one who has to go, it's James. I feel like that's another positive that might get him towards the end. I feel like Ryan's winning path is getting a few rounds past this, voting in majority a few times, and then winning a bunch of immunities. That's not really the only way he can win, and I feel like he can barely even win from there. But that's why it's a 4. I just feel like him not being in the minority of the vote is kind of good. It's a 4 for me. Plus he's fine, so he getting a 4. I don't know what's
period.
Sammy, I really like Sammy as a player. I think he's very savvy. However, I think he's a little too cutthroat. I feel like people don't know how to. I feel like Sammy specifically doesn't know how to and also keep his allies in a good position. I feel like it's important to keep your allies in a good position. The way Jesse has Cody on his hip, and if you're voting against Cody, you're voting against me, I think is a positive, and why I feel like Jesse's kind of playing a little better than him in that regard, because Sammy, first of all, doesn't have anyone who's just on his hip. Everyone he's aligned with have stronger allies than himself. He hasn't linked up with Owen the way he been should have. It's looking like Owen was diverting towards Dwight more than Sammy. And it's like, Sammy, what are you doing? You kind of need to have someone to have your back, to always be a vote for you. Because Sammy's the type of person that if anyone clocks you, let's say randomly next episode, Carla's like, Sammy's low-key playing good. He can go. Who's going to be like, no, not Sammy? No one. No one really cares. You just voted against Owen, Janine, and Gabler. So why should they give a fuck? So I feel like that's his downfall. But I do like that he has self-preservation. I think he's the most selfish player at this moment that we've seen. And that's very, very positive. However, it's just hard for me to rank him high because he doesn't really have real allies at all. So I'm going to just give him a 5.5 and wish for the best.
I think I'm going to leave him at the 6. And the reason why I'm not going to go any higher at this time is because I like a lot of the things you said. I agree with a lot of what you said. I think one of the big things, not necessarily a mistake, but an issue, is that he's the only one from his original tribe in this voting block. It doesn't seem like he has any real connections with anyone in this voting block either. We haven't seen him talk to Jesse or Cody as much. We've seen him talk to Carla, but not really James, not Cassidy at all. Mainly, he speaks to Baca. Now, kind of trying to flash forward a little bit. We saw in the preview, this next episode is probably going to start planting the seeds or fully going with flipping the tribe to a certain extent, trying to take his power position. And I don't know if that's going to be negative or positive for him, because he hasn't shown, like Farrell mentioned, to have those people who are going to back him up when he wants to make those type of moves. Like, we haven't seen him being able to even really be the one pushing for a vote. I mean, Ellie going home was mainly Gabler. Sammy got to tea a little bit later and kind of went with it. And even in this situation, I'm assuming they told him to vote, and he really just went with it. And it's smart because it does make people think that they can work with you. They think that, he's someone that can be used. That what Ellie thought. I'm assuming that's probably what Carl and them think too, which is why they're okay with him being the only Baca. But it's just like, that's only going to get you so far if you don't have any close ally. Now, an interesting thing would be if he's able to flip with Baca, maybe flip a Cassidy, flip a Ryan, who knows, and take a majority. Then Sammy definitely could be in that position to where it's like a 7, an 8. You know what I mean? But I just feel like his game is mainly self-preservation, like Farrell mentioned, and I don't know how far it's going to get him, because it's not. He's really just not building those connections that I feel like are going to take him that far, honestly.
Yeah.
And because he's he's more of an active player in the diary room. I feel like he says more about what he wants and what he wants to do and what he thinks about people in the confessionals. And then when he actually is on the field, he doesn't give that at all. So I'm just wondering, like, when is that switch going to be on the field? Because I feel like, because you mentioned him being cutthroat, and I feel like the cutthroatness is mainly in the confessionals when you think about it. Like, in the confessional, you see one of the people like, I don't really like these people. I'm doing what I have to do to get to the end. Whoop, whoop, whoop. But when he's actually playing, it doesn't give that at all. It gives, I'm kind of just going with the group, and it does keep you safe, but doesn't get you to the end. And that's just my thing. Like, what is the path for him to really get there? So at this moment, it's a 6. I think it can definitely go higher. But he's going to have to start making some big moves. He really is.
I agree. So we have the girlies in order. Once again, the big 3 are Carla, James, and Jesse. This time, Carla's in the lead. She has the highest rated score with a 7.75. Then we have James. Then we have Jesse. After that, we still have Sammy and Owen right behind. But this time, Sammy's above Owen. So it's been slight shifts at the head honchos of the game, but I think it's very consistent that the fact that James, Jesse, and Carla are very likely to possibly win the game. And then if it's not them, it'll probably be Sammy or Owen. And I just think that's just the truth. After that, we have the losers. So Cassidy and Janine are tied right behind them. I think that makes a lot of sense. I do think Janine's probably a better player than Cassidy. We just haven't seen it yet. I think Janine's had a harder hand, like a harder hand dealt to her. So that kind of evens them out a little bit. And then we have the flops, Cody, Noel, Ryan, and Gabler at the bottom. I don't see any of them winning, honestly. But good luck.
We'll see. Luck.
Now, y'all, I have the drafts. And wait, one of them isn't right because I was trying to put it up. It was a lot going on. So let me fix it. But as I fix it, on my team, I have the big 3. And me having the big 3, honestly, I don't feel
scared. You do have the big 3. I didn't really notice that. You do.
The one person I thought Lee could win with is, what is this? Is Dwight, and he doesn't have Dwight anymore. So it's like I'm literally not.
I'm honestly only. I'm mainly betting on Owen to be like the winner. Like. But other than Owen, I mean, I don't know, because like I do like it's a high chance that one of the big 3, Carla, James, or Jesse, is winning. But exactly. I don't know. Owen and Sammy, they still have a chance.
That's the thing. I will say Owen can win, but honestly, Dwight was the one I was like, oh, okay, maybe, because Owen's edit is really, really good. And that's the thing. If you do win with Owen, no shade. That's ugly, because the way Jesse, Carla, and James are literally playing phenomenally, it's kind of like, I mean, I guess Owen wins. It's like, ooh. But no shade. I think Owen could win on your tribe or Sammy, like you said, and that's really interesting. But I still have the big three. Like, and if Carla, James, and Jesse all go home and none of them win, that's gonna be just unfortunate for the season.
It's gonna be sad.
If I don't win this draft, this season is probably gonna be one of my least favorite seasons, and that's interesting because this is in the
okay. Now it's giving bias.
No, genuinely, the season's not that good. So if we don't get a good win, winner, I'm just not gonna like the season.
It's definitely a mid-season compared to the last two. Like now that we're in merge and nothing, we still have a few more rounds. Maybe get a little bit more interesting, but it's like I thought it was gonna be a big shift when merge happened, and it's not a big shift. So I'm still feeling like, ooh, okay, we're trucking along, aren't we?
Yeah, the only thing that would make me like the season is if we got a Carla, Jesse, or James win. I would be like, okay, you know what? It wasn't that bad of a season. We got an iconic winner. We move along, and it would be a POC winner. We move along, even if Owen wins. So, low-key, the top contenders are not white, so I don't give a fuck. Like, we A. Oh my God, they're gonna be mad because who's white here? Noelle, who's going home, and Cody, who's going home. Like, and Cassidy, who's going home. So we won regardless, honestly, y'all. So, I know that's right. So fuck. All right, you all. Make sure y'all tune in next week where we're covering the next episode of Survivor. We're trucking along. We're also trucking along with Amazing Race. We are also trucking along with the challenge. Please stay tuned. Please be with us. Like, thank you so much for watching. If y'all were watching live, thank you so fucking much because y'all.
We really appreciate it.
We need y'all. We need y'all here. We do because without y'all, would we be here? Like, I don't know. All right, we finna dip, and I'm finna go.